on Facebook.
Yeah?
Aye. Oh, we're live, y'all.
Yeah, we're live. We're live. What's going on, Andy? And also, hold on, let me take this thing down. We'll have Dylan.
Get in.
What a performance tonight, guys.
Brilliant.
All right, lad.
The brother's an Arsenal fan too, so that made it sweeter.
Arsenal fans talking about Arteta be like,
oh, well, you know, I've got to take the fucking positives, haven't I?
He could have signed for Arsenal. He said, fuck that.
oh, man.
Yeah, love it. Love it.
What did you think of the performance tonight, guys? Was that one of the best ones that we've had this season? The best, possibly? What's going on?
Best as a team for me.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, that was the best as a team. That was absolutely outstanding. From minute 1 to 90, I knew we were going to get a clean sheet. I don't know about you guys, but that was just too easy, in my opinion.
But we made a team that, like I said it to my brother, if you were a neutral looking at that game, one team started the day at 15th and the other started 5th, you would have thought Newcastle were 5th and Arsenal were 15th.
Yeah.
Bang on, Dylan, lad. Bang on. You would have thought that the table was the opposite way around.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Totally agree.
Yeah, no, Has there been
Joe Linton, Bruno, in bangs hats off to him as well. Ran that midfield.
Joe Linton and Bruno?
Yeah. Completely.
The aggression in midfield won us that game.
Absolutely.
I'm one of Longstaff's biggest critics.
Yeah.
I'm one of Longstaff's biggest critics, but I hold my hand up. He was excellent tonight.
Yeah?
Hi, Jay, by the way. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you, lads. I keep missing the weekend stuff. I get busy. I just don't have time. I watch the match a lot over at a friend's house in the garage, and then I got to run off and do work and stuff. So I'll make a Monday night for sure.
Nice to see what'd you think, Jay, of tonight? How were you surprised, actually? Let's start off with that. Because I said I predicted a 1-0.
I was hopeful. I was in for a win before.
Yeah.
I was hopeful ASM would have a good match.
And he did.
And he did. I think we saw as much as anything. So, no, I wasn't too surprised. I was hopeful. I mean, I certainly wasn't shocked. And I think most of us weren't shocked because we know what Eddie's capable of. We know he's got the brain to drive our club forward, to get the most out of our players in our positions. And I think tonight, as much as anything, we saw his system win. 2 ways, and then I'll hand it off. Generally, we play pretty well with our game, right? We do our thing really since January, but we don't disrupt other clubs all that well. And I know Arsenal didn't play super well tonight, but we destroyed them in the midfield. They didn't
allow them to play well.
So I'm not surprised. I think it's a credit to Eddie and of course our great players.
We've become a hard team to beat. Barring the Man City game, but they're miles ahead. I'm not going to say galaxies because I think Eddie Howe's elevated us, and the players also have bought into what it's a 50-50 thing. It takes 2 to tango. I think today,
Steve, I think today was an actual blueprint of exactly what Eddie Howe's plan is.
Yes, exactly. It was a Bournemouth 3-0 win over Chelsea, reincarnate. Yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely, because the press from the front.
You had a striker to play off.
Yeah.
What a difference. And hats off to him to staying on after he got his tooth nigh on knocked out. I mean, I've commented on this channel before about teeth. My mate was saying to me, he's going to come off. I was like, he'll stay on. He'll stay on. And he stayed on, and he contributed to the first goal. For me, if the defender just knock it in, Wilson's got a shot on goal. So, mate, as a team, I don't think you can look at any player on that pitch today and say they had a bad game. Not one.
No, you can't.
Dubravka didn't have much to do, but he wasn't poor. Yeah, right. He was the least involved. What did Dubravka have to do tonight? He faced 2 shots on target.
2. I was going to say 2 shots. Yeah.
2. That's what I mean. Even though we were pressing pretty much the whole game, even when Arsenal kind of ventured in our half for 5-10 minutes.
First game for a long time when a team's been attacking us. I've never had, and I didn't really get worried. The only time I got worried was when Saka cut in on his left foot.
Yeah. Wilson, goddammit. I was thinking, I literally said in the pre-match, I thought we were going to win 1-0, but I said Callum Wilson goal. But it was a Ben White own goal, actually, it was ruled as.
That effort from nearly the halfway line summed Wilson up tonight.
He was so close.
Oh, my God.
Just a bit.
And you know what? That kind of thing shows the confidence that we had tonight.
Mm-hmm.
We were on another level tonight. For that,
what do you guys think? I think it commented a little bit in rating the players about why are we doing better with Wilson out there when we clearly see a difference. I'm just speculating here. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Maybe he makes more predictable vertical moves. Maybe something that he's doing people are more comfortable with because strikers can put in a lot of work and nothing good can come out of that sometimes when the team is just with them. I just think maybe there's some predictability there, and I'm speculating here. I can't point at anything and say, like, oh, that's clearly why we did better with him out there. I don't know if it's coincident or not, but it certainly seems related. We were threatening from every angle and both sides, even when some of our crosses weren't that good. What do you guys think about Wilson up top up there?
For me, Jay, it's the threat. If there's a ball over the top of the defence, that someone's actually going to get to that ball.
Yeah,
okay. Gives their defence. They're sitting in a high line. A lot of teams sit high against us because when we play with Chris Wood, it's a case of we've got to play into Chris Wood and then play off Chris Wood.
Yeah.
When we've got Callum Wilson in the side, he can do the similar job to Chris Wood. Okay, he's not going to win some of the balls that Chris Wood wins in the air, but he puts himself about and he doesn't get smacked in the mouth for nothing. He's putting himself there. But he's still willing to chase balls. He did it in the first 20 minutes. He took a ball down the line and he got challenged and we had a free kick at the edge of the box. I hate to say it, but Paul Merson said something the other day and he said he's got international movement. He's bang on. He's bang on. The guy has got is it a trick? Is it a trick of just knowing when the ball's coming, I'm moving. And when he goes, not many people can keep up with him, and he's big enough to keep the ball as well. Yes, and he changed the game for me today. We were a different team with him today.
We were able to do the pressing from the front. That's the biggest thing for me, and defending from the front. That was the biggest thing for me.
For me, that's the best. That's the best all-round Newcastle performance I've seen since the days when we were challenging under Pardew.
2012. 13, 11,
all round, everyone,
against the top team. I can't remember us winning a game as comfortably against the quote-unquote top big six since Liverpool in December 2015, where Wijnaldum, one goal was more of an own goal, but Wijnaldum claimed the 2 goals. But since then, I can't actually recall Newcastle playing a big six team and actually looking as comfortable as they look tonight. It was refreshing to see, and it's definitely, hopefully, a sign of things going forward.
And if any player that we're looking at now is considering going to Arsenal, they're going to think twice now.
We've literally screwed them over of a Champions League spot. So,
And that's another thing. They actually had something to play for today. We didn't, really. We had money to play for today in places. They had an actual champion. I mean, how much is the Champions League worth to them?
Big money.
Huge money. The difference finishing 5th or 4th to them.
And for them to lose it to Tottenham as well.
Well, some of our American commentators here were talking after the match about how Newcastle didn't have anything to play for. And while mathematically that may be true, I do not think that is the position of our players at all.
Manager, bro.
Some people are playing to get a spot, of course.
For the futures, yeah.
People are playing, even the ones who are staying, I think people are playing to be part of the legacy that is going to happen over the next few years, no matter how long it takes or whatever that is. And I think they feel that way. I don't think any of our players were like, cool, we're safe, only 2 more. And I think that's a little different than most teams that are sitting mid-table, right? We're a different animal right now.
I think this comment's really good here. Wilson, and you could say Wilson and or really any other player, proved tonight that they are determined to be a part of this project. Top class, and now it's talking about Wilson. Wilson's top class striker. It's a massive thing that he's unfortunately injury prone, which is a shame because I was saying, like, he is a 20 goal a season in the in all competitions. You could get 25 out of him if we go deep.
And he stays healthy.
If he stays healthy, like the guy who finds out how to keep Wilson healthy, you fucking pay that guy and you get.
You know how have someone a similar level next to him, so you haven't got to put that pressure on him to play 2-3 games a week.
Yeah.
Right. And we're going to need that. You know, I mentioned that. You know, everybody wants a cup run. I'm for next year. Like how many players we need. Like I would just take a nice top performance. I would even be happy with 9 or 10. One of my friends said, well, Eddie's going to get fired. I was like, if he doesn't do
no way Eddie's getting fired. Not after tonight.
And a club run, we're going to need some. I'm sorry, a cup run. We're going to need some bodies, right?
We'll need depth, all right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Injuries. Yeah.
And so we need these kind of players. Another striker, somebody just mentioned. We're going to need, even when we get rid of 7 or so players or whatever, we're going to have to refill, reload, just to maintain what we have now, and then hopefully continue the excellent best of my life, best of my followership signings since 2002-ish. Like this cluster works. Like it works together, and we're going to need to duplicate that again.
Agreed, Andrew. Don't remember feeling so comfortable for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Arsenal had 2 chances with Saka down the right that he got the better of target. And
I mean, Saka is an international England. For me, he probably
and he's been amazing this season for the most part. Past few games, he hasn't been that great. But he's 20 and he's top class.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked no better than Jacob Murphy tonight. Seriously.
That says a lot about our midfield and back four because
we immobilized any and every threat that they had. Lacazette, that guy is a lack of threat.
Martinelli as well.
Nothing.
I've missed scoring the players, but I'd dread to think if anyone got less than a 7.
Dubravka got a 7. I think everyone else. I think Target got a 7.5. Schär got a 7.5, 8. Byrne got an 8. Bruno, for me, I gave him a 10 out of 10. I gave Wilson a 10 out of 10. I gave ASM an 8 or an 8.5. I gave Miggy a 7.5. I gave Longstaff a 7.5. I gave Kraft an 8. I think that's everyone. And then the subs. That was a crazy part, too, when I was talking with Carl. The subs, they all played a part, too. They all wanted a goal, too. We were trying to make it more than 2.
Fraser should have scored, and Gale laid him on.
The thing for me was in the first half, Bruno just absolutely dominating that midfield. Every time we got the ball out to Dan Burn on the left-hand side, all Target and Burn were doing was manipulating spaces to make sure that Bruno had space to receive the ball. They were moving their press to make sure that when they pressed, that Bruno could receive the ball. And as soon as Bruno received the ball, we were on the attack. It was like watching, in a sense, Brighton. You know, how you got a plan. You know what they're going to do. I'm not saying Brighton have the exact same thing. It was just, there's a plan there now, and it's clear. We've seen it slightly, but this was
emphatic for me. This was emphatic.
It was brilliant.
I feel like our players understand what Eddie wants, and so when they see, like, most of us here on this channel are pretty familiar with how the game works, space, and generally what strategies ought to generally be working.
Yeah.
But different thing of knowing what the plan is on the whiteboard and then going out there and doing it.
Yeah.
And observing things like previously it required ASM just had to carry us with brilliance. And when he did, yay. And when he didn't, what are we doing? Now everyone seems to be on the same page so that when people are making moves, they're not completely surprised. They're able to riff off them. I think that's why we see, I got the ratings up for our midfield up here off to my left over here. That's why everybody in the midfield has great ratings for today, from like who scored and whatnot. They are not turning the ball over, making effective passes with high completion rates. Yeah. The runs that are being made are not totally wasted. Like when everybody's on the same page, boy, it's more fun to watch. It's more effective for the players. It's going to get us more wins. And if we play anything like this next year, we are going to destroy people at St. James. Like lots of people in the first half of the season next year are going to be like, what the hell is going on up here?
Gee, I think you've just hit the nail on the head there. I think one thing that has got to be said is what an atmosphere, mate. Oh my God. I've been in Newcastle. Hats off to every single war flags. You deserve a medal.
Top.
Brilliant.
That is the difference. I mean, Everton are nearly surviving because their fans are getting behind them, but they have got no idea what they do for us, war flags and the fans. Brilliant.
And, we can see that in the opening coverage on most of sometimes it cuts short over here in America, but like today it was running for minutes and minutes and minutes.
Yeah.
Before that. So we could actually see that. And I'm however 5,000 miles away or whatever. So, if that's coming through my screen in my little room here,
such a difference.
Can you imagine how ridiculous that is for like Arsenal on the being
a bunch of 20-year-olds, like Carl was saying, they're going to be intimidated by that, man.
That's exactly what rattled Arsenal before the performance itself. But Saka, I saw a picture of Saka there, someone had up, and he was like, whoa. He was overawed by it completely.
He's like, I should be with these guys. I don't want to be against them. Why would I do that to myself? Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. Let's see any comments here. Sending love from Bermuda. Say anyone trying to say that we're a small club? We got an international fan. Get the fuck out of here.
And let's just say, Steve, I had a pop it. I said something in the garden the other video. If you were playing for a contract, that wasn't the performance. Well, hats off Sean Longstaff because
yeah,
absolutely.
I've been a huge critic of him, but tonight he was brilliant.
In the first half, I've not really seen him in the first half, but that was kind of a compliment to him because we dominated the ball, and he was just.
He was part of the press.
Never in the final third, but he was always in the game. He kept things ticking, and he's shown some maturity to his game.
His pass effectively led to the second goal as well, so that's big props to him for that.
Yeah,
he's in there with 4 tackles.
He held the ball in the final third he shielded the ball, which we've all been worried. How many times we're talking about he received you down or something like that.
He's back.
Today he was different class.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Longstaff deserves praise. Who else do I deserve? Kraft for me, I thought was easy 8 out of 10 for me. Oh.
Yep. And then did we hear did Shark get hit in the head? Is that what happened to him? Did he get knocked out?
I think so.
Did he get a head protocol thing?
Elbow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because at first I saw him drop to the floor. And I thought to myself, this was not good because he was motionless on the floor. Yeah. And then I think it was Kraft or Targa ran really quickly over to him to check on him. And thank God there wasn't anything. Yeah, thank God there wasn't anything more because that was a scary situation for the split second where he was unconscious, almost motionless on the floor.
Yeah.
And speaking of other defenders, I think most of us here want
to
keep Target.
When the Newcastle player runs over to him and looks at his face to get his tongue out his mouth, you're worried, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
I think most of us want to keep Target, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
20 million.
I want to keep everybody and then bolt more on, right, and add more people. But just consider that also we've done most of this January run without the leadership of Trippier, right? Which
Yes.
he got us off on the right thing. But think about, so I hope Target stays, and I think he will, because why wouldn't you want to be part of this if you're already here to a certain extent? So especially with him out there on the left and getting Trippier back to sort of lead more from the middle, I would expect us to have a much better goals against ratio next year. Much better. Much better.
Apparently, it looks
We've
like
got to sell
Star
back phone
swallowed
now,
his
haven't
tongue, and I think it was Target that ran over to him. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Kudos to him, because I was worried when I seen him rush over like that.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
He was flat on the ground, and I thought, oh, fuck, like, you know, but thankfully it was not too serious.
I thought he was unconscious on the pitch there initially. So
Yeah.
I think that's why he got took off, because of the concussion rule, because he'd been out. I think he wanted to stay on. He didn't seem that he was happy to go off. He seemed as if he was like, well, I could have stayed on, but I've been rules taking us off. You know what I mean? It was the right thing to do, take him off when you get clattered like that.
Right.
I think this is a great comment too. We played with freedom tonight. Arsenal were overwhelmed by the atmosphere. The rest were watching Newcastle quiet fear.
I missed the Wilson whack. Who knocked his tooth out?
Super chat. I forget. It was something in the box, right? And it was.
I didn't actually see it either.
I was trying to look during the match, and all the pictures on Reddit and Twitter just of the tooth in the front of his mouth, not the clip itself.
Spurs fan here. Thank you. And top 4 is ours. You just got to beat Norwich. That's the easiest top 4 pat, bro.
This is Spurs we're talking about, you know.
This is Norwich we're talking about. No, yeah, you are
Norwich.
No, to be honest though, about
paraded.
To be honest about the Arsenal, we're overwhelmed by the atmosphere. We probably did Arsenal. We did Arsenal a favor, because if they got drawn with Bayern München again, they would have gotten another 10-2.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not going to win the Europa League next year either. This is. We really need to talk about Arsenal. I don't give a fuck about them, but that was such a bad performance from them.
They're very hit and miss.
Yeah.
Take on Dylan, lad.
No, like my brother, I watch Arsenal a good bit, because, as I mentioned, my brother is an Arsenal fan. So tonight it's bragging rights for once for me. But Arsenal can be one week absolutely brilliant, but then like they were tonight, like they were against Tottenham, Palace, Brighton, they can be so mediocre and average as well. You never really get an in-between with Arsenal. You either get a really bad Arsenal or a really good Arsenal. And luckily for us tonight, we got the worst of Arsenal, but we made them poor.
Yeah, exactly. We were hard to beat.
For me, you've got to be worried if you're an Arsenal fan, in the sense that at half-time, you've seen Miguel Teta with his notepad and he's noting stuff down and he's looking annoyed. And I didn't see anything in the second half from Arsenal that was different from the first half.
Nothing at all.
If anything, they regressed.
They regressed.
Even Pepe coming on, there was nothing different. We controlled the mid, and to say this, this is a side that's 14th in the league, or was before today, or 13th, 14th in the league, against a side that's going for Champions League. I would expect that Arsenal last 10, 15 minutes to really have a right
go.
Yeah.
We never seen any of that.
They were too conservative for me. Emile Smith-Rowe probably deserved to get subbed off, because I didn't notice him.
Talented player.
He's very good, but we marked him out of the game completely.
And even Martinelli did very little when he came on. He tried to create a few things, but a lot of his crosses were going nowhere, and that's because of the pressure.
Kraft did a good job on Martinelli.
He did, yeah.
I think most of our credit has got to go down to the shape that we had today.
Yeah.
Off the ball, we were fantastic. Off the ball.
Yep. And I think that directly resulted in basically Nketiah being out of the match for most of the match. Like, he was just kind of wandering around up front, and the few good things that happened for them came from Saka And then who took that first? Did Odegaard take that first shot? Maybe 20 minutes in. I think that was him on the right side, squared up. That's the save that Dubravka made. So that's where the good stuff came from them.
Just desperation from Arteta at the end, putting on all those players, but there's no plan. He threw the kitchen sink, but where did he throw it to?
He threw it behind him.
Steve Bruce tactics.
I don't know if you saw it, but right after the Arteta post-match interview, and they asked him, hey, do you kind of have a plan? Do you know why this went wrong? And I'm really badly paraphrasing what the question was. And you could see him. I thought I saw him kind of think in a way that made him say, "Yeah, I know what's wrong, and I'm not going to say it right now." There was like a real pregnant pause to me as he began to respond to that question. And then he just came back with coach speak about, you got to.
He's very arrogant, though. I don't.
That's an opinion. And I think when your coach is that upset with players and players upset with the coach, that's you're done. You're on the way. So
there's not a single player on the Arsenal side that was allowed to play tonight. That was huge on our ability to press and bluntly refused to allow them to play.
Yep.
Lee Leyland, we love it. Chicago Jordy. Hey, there we go.
There we go.
It's me, pal, mate. I was talking about you earlier. He's obviously commenting.
Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah, to me, I think this will go down in Newcastle history as like one of the turning points. This was a statement win because even the subs that came on, even Dwight Gale nearly scored. Like
that would have been so good had he his last run out right there, right? I mean that could be the end. So
let him have that goal and let him go. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm with you on that, Jay.
The issue with Arsenal is they have a midfield consisting of Xhaka and Elneny, which isn't good enough. They also don't have any leaders. They just that's the other thing too. I think one of Arsenal's bigger problems too is that they rely way too much on Emil Smith-Rowe and Saka. Way too much on them. They're 20 years old.
Yeah, but it's not real skill.
Steve,
it's not a bad plan.
The lad that's just commented there came on mine for a drink, and I turned on and said to him, if we get ahead of Arsenal, they're done. Once the going gets tough, the belly isn't there. They are not a Chelsea or a West Ham or someone that's going to come back at you. The good football's great to watch when they feel good, but they didn't have that. They didn't want to challenge Joe Linton in the midfield. Joe Linton literally was a bully.
Yeah.
He didn't do much on the ball, but he absolutely bullied everybody that got near him on the ball. Arsenal do not have a player like that.
No cookies tonight for me, Andrew.
Sorry?
No cookies for me tonight.
No cookies this week.
Do you think Andrew, they're really still carrying the beating from Tottenham into our match tonight?
I hope you're well, mate.
I'm good, yeah.
Good, lad.
What was that, Jay?
I said, do you think that they were still carrying the beating?
Yes.
That they just really weren't over it, and that's a big ask to go down like that and then come to the North.
But the destiny was still in their own hands because had they won, they would have still been above Tottenham. So it wasn't like the incentive wasn't there for them to go up to Newcastle and win. Plain and simple, they blew it tonight, and that's their top four hopes over. They're finished now.
Done.
I mean, I can't think of a harder 2 games in a midweek, one on a midweek and then the weekend or Monday or whatever. You have the North London derby and then away to Newcastle when we're in this kind of form and this thing happening. The only teams that would be harder to go away to are Anfield and
You say that, Steve, though, but the last times we've played Arsenal, I don't think we've beat Arsenal for...
We haven't even scored against them in a while.
I heard that stat was like 6 games.
2018.
I don't know if it's 6 games.
And I'm sure that's probably been said in the dressing room before they went out. And I'll be honest, it showed. If them kind of things have been said in the dressing room, it showed today for me. Something is giving us that performance because for me, that was probably the best performance of the season for me.
Oh yeah, 100% best performance for me.
Yeah,
too.
Ryan, what were your thoughts, man? What did you watch the whole game, or are you at work, or what?
No, I missed the first 5 minutes of the second half, but
Okay.
I saw the whole thing.
Who was your man of the match? And just give me your thoughts, man.
That was so hard because I thought at a minimum everyone had to be an 8. I'd have to just slimly give it to Joe Linton for me.
Man of the match.
Yeah. Him or Callum Wilson were probably the best.
Or Bruno. I thought Bruno was terrific.
Oh, brilliant midfield. Brilliant.
Yeah.
I love him. Like, how have we stumbled across Bruno, really? He's genuinely a world-class player.
Honestly. Wilson will have a field day if he stays fit next season, if Bruno stays fit, because the balls that guy can play are out. If we get a winger that just like someone like a Carrasco or something from Atletico Madrid.
Carrasco,
yeah. Bruno gets the ball.
Stick ASM on the right-hand side. Honestly, Wilson's going to have a fucking field day. Excuse me, French, but he is. Sorry for the swearing, lads.
You know what I was surprised about? I thought when I saw Tomiyasu play, I was like, oh, fuck. I feel like he'll just pocket ASM, but ASM had him on toast.
Complete opposite. He had him on skates, man.
Yeah.
Oh, we kicked Anthony from Ajax with Anthony.
Oh, he is amazing. I love him. He is amazing.
Anthony, keep in mind, though, he is still young and he'll still have things to work on. But the thing with Anthony, actually, is he's really good in the air. He has like a really, really high aerial percentage win rate. So that would be beyond perfect for Wilson, because then they can do flick-ons off each other with the fucking and you get everything as you know what I mean? That's mad.
I saw Ryan, you mentioned there about Tomiyasu, that saint-maximin. Like, I was worried too that when he was in, that he was going to pocket Maximin, but I think Squawka put up a post. Tomiyasu had only been dribbled past 7 times this season as a whole, and Maximum dribbled past him 4 times tonight alone.
Wow.
Do you know what is? Dylan, you bang on. Do you know what I loved about ASM tonight? He just got the ball and ran at him and got the ball in.
Yeah.
He didn't check, but he did at times. But so many times tonight,
he's more clever tonight. Yeah.
ASM had to go back to basics, to just being his man, putting balls in. I think he did that.
And I think that helped the team because they just knew a plan. They didn't have to worry about ASM going wild.
I'm sorry, I'm talking over everybody. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
No worries.
Maybe lagging. I'm just blasting everybody there. But
I'm lagging, mate. Sorry.
Said that in the comments that we don't have to have him be everywhere all the time anymore, so he can focus that brilliance. It used to be he had to beat 3 people in a row for us to win. He had to execute perfectly or we lose. But now, especially with Bruno in the center, providing all that structure, we talked about wings, everyone can just play their role, and all we need is just link up little bits of brilliance. We don't need you to, dribble from one end to the other and kick it in. We can work with each other, and I think that's being enabled out of Bruno in particular. And then now Joe Linton in his new spot playing in a midfield role. We got effective runs out of our strikers at the top. Like, it could be some really pretty stuff next year. Like, it could be like, when we win, it'll be like really pretty wins.
Sorry, Jay. I think the first half especially, I think that a lot of our attacks are coming down the right side, and like it's good to see that more. I thought the link up between Almiron and Kraft all game was really good.
Yeah.
I thought that's where we're mostly going. We're exploiting, because I guess Eddie Howe knew how weak Nuno Tavares is, so we'll exploit that. Eddie Howe did his homework clearly on Arteta. Like, I just can't believe it. Like, on paper, we should have not dominated that game. Like, let's be real. I don't know how we competed with them, but we just have. I think it's just the belief in the players and our manager. That's what we got now.
Well, it's a small sample size. But when was the last time we actually had more possession against the top 6 team? Like, genuinely, this could be 2 decades, if not more. Like,
what was it?
We actually had more possession, and that's
47 or something. Sorry,
that is so encouraging.
Good Good point.
That's a good comment here. Bruno was levels above anyone tonight. What is not spoke of enough is about the second goal. The block, tackle the run forward to get a free kick in our box just before the second goal. Look up the stat.
Yeah.
The block was him that blocked Odegaard.
Yeah,
I thought he's
the time when Odegaard had the ball and Bruno came in and boom.
Yeah.
For me, it's the amount of times in the centre midfield you can have three people next to him just get out of it and then get a ball out.
Yeah.
It sets you on the counter attack.
He makes it look easy.
Different level.
He makes it look like it's making a sandwich.
Newcastle.
You know what, too? It must have been a mental feeling for our midfielders, too, because they knew they had to play 90 minutes because we had no one on the bench to come on for them unless we changed formation. We changed formation. So I thought they all did well. And look, we just wanted the game more today, and we hunted Arsenal like a pack of wolves. We wanted to win every second ball, every header. We wanted to intercept every ball coming in. It was amazing.
We quite simply just wanted to win the game more.
Exactly.
I was worried second half, I'd be like, oh fuck, this might be a game like Arsenal squeeze it 1-0 maybe with Martinelli coming on and doing something, but that didn't happen. We just continued our game plan was continued on. Eventually found that one spot of ASM just you've seen that a lot during Eddie Howe's reign, is that you see Joe Linton making underlapping runs while ASM's out wide, plays them through, then Callum Wilson's there.
Right, because there's always space. The coach will tell you there's unless they've got you marked perfectly, their system's matching you 100%. There is space somewhere. Yeah. You just have to be playing in a way to make use of it, and we did that tonight. You mentioned the right side stuff from Kraft up, but even later I was poking around at heat maps because I like that kind of nerdy crap.
Yeah.
So you're pretty balanced in the second half as well too, right? It just that tells me that not only is our system working either through us just being that good or them failing to account for that, but we're getting the space. That's why you get so many passes, right? That's how if you don't get any space, you're turning the ball over pretty quickly unless you got really monsters holding the ball. And it's a real credit to everyone, the players and the coaching system itself.
The team's flowing with confidence too when you see backheel 1-2s and stuff.
Right. Yeah, or the Wilson trying from the halfway, trying to catch out Ramsdale. That's the confidence was just.
Yeah, I almost don't want the season to end now, guys. But I feel like now it's a good time for some players. But at the same time,
I didn't want that game to end.
Yeah,
if we played the game another 90 minutes, we would have won 5-6.
It's that Kylo Ren gif where it's more.
Yeah.
I don't recall a season quite ending this way. I've only been here since 2002, but I don't recall ending with kind of such a feel good about the players, even kind of where we were. I must say that I think I'm happier with the club, right now in this second, despite the fact that we finished higher just with who we are, what we look like, our owners, the whole package. I might be more content as a Newcastle fan in this second, in this moment, than I've been in nigh on 20 years.
Yeah.
Absurd and can't quite be right. But
the feeling I have now in particular, I've been a fan since 2009. I feel so much more confident about the club going forward than I did in 2011-12, where we finished fifth, and then the Europa League, the quarterfinals the year after. But you always had that sense with Ashley. He was public enemy number one. We were never going to win with him regardless. But now we have owners that give us hope, that give us ambition to actually see this club get into Europe, and it's onwards and upwards, and it's just a brilliant time to be a fan now.
Sure.
To back up what you're saying there, Dylan, for me, if you're in the summer, you're going to go and try and attract players, and they say, well, can you compete with the best four, the top 4, 5, 6 teams in the league? You can literally show them this game and turn around and say, well, Kieran Trippier wasn't playing.
Yeah.
Wilson's was his second game back from an injury.
4 months out, yeah.
And if you think anything of yourself, stick yourself in that team and what you're going to do to affect that game.
Exactly.
Do you know what? And then the money, obviously, money's going to have it, regardless of whether we want to accept it or we don't want to accept it. Money is a fact in football. But they will go somewhere if they believe that there's something possible. And if you can show them a game like that and say, look, this is what we can do with what we've got available.
And the crowd behind them as well.
Exactly. This is exactly what I was about to get at, mate. And then you've got that behind you. Mate, that atmosphere is...
Second to none.
I think 14 years ago, so what's 14? I'm 36. The last time I experienced a crowd properly was probably Dynamo Kiev in the Champions League. Like when Newcastle was Newcastle. An actual atmosphere.
Right.
I've been to games. I stopped going simply because I didn't look forward to going.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I can't get a ticket. I could sell my kidney and I can't get a ticket. But that's good. Do you know what it is? I love it.
That's a good sign. Yeah. It's a sign of a winning team.
Everybody's buying in. Man City are not like us. Not everybody in Man City wants to go to a game.
No.
They'll all say, well, you've got money just like us. Yeah, but we had a fan base before you did.
Monster fan base.
We can fill it. We can fill a championship stadium with 52,000 people. You couldn't. They could get relegated next season. Let's say money happens or something, and they get relegated because of financial play or something. They're not going to get 30,000 the following season. No. We will.
Not fair of it. But that's another thing I want. I was going to bring up the point of Rangers and Frankfurt fans, like the scenes they're going to create in Seville. Imagine the Newcastle fans get. Yeah. But another thing, thinking of Rangers, Celtic and Rangers up in Scotland, they have almost 3 tiers full to themselves in away grounds. We were doing that in the Championship, with away to other teams.
Yeah.
If hypothetically speaking, if Chelsea or Man City, probably only Liverpool and Man United would have the 3 stands filled out in an away ground along with us. Nobody else. The fan base Newcastle have is unbelievable.
Attendance against Leeds. Yeah.
Yep. And there's effectively not quite a generation, but a huge portion of Geordies that do not remember at all significant European nights. Like when I got on the bandwagon, I was like, "This is great. We play in Europe. This is easy." Well, that was very, very stupid. So when we get back, can you imagine how many Geordies are going to shell out to travel for that? It is going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up with the entertainers. This is just as exciting, if not better.
Oh, wow. That is heavy.
Since the Brentford game, Eddie Howe's first game, right? Since that game till now, we'd be 7th in the league. It's literally a fact. I'm looking at it right here. And level on points with Man United, 3 points behind Chelsea. We're 41 points.
That's nuts.
We have 41 points. And guess what? Below us is Wolves with 35. So there's already a gap there.
Absolutely. I remember one European night, I think it was 6-1. I think I was 6 years old. It was a 4-1 loss against Sporting Club de Portugal.
Yeah, I remember that. Semi-finals, quarter-final, I think.
Against Benfica, I wasn't much better in 2013.
2013, yeah.
One goal.
Eddie did not get the credit he deserves from the media. It's crazy how they ignore the media. All right, so team of the who was the Aberdeen fan? Where is
Imagine if we changed the manager when all the fans were asking to.
Yeah.
We've all been in jobs when the person above us is incompetent, and we can all say it. And then when someone comes in and they're competent, you see a difference. This is what we're seeing.
Exactly.
Yeah, it affects the employees too, almost like
everybody.
Yeah.
See, Bruce, the mentality is drained. Like it's the way it is being around that. Like you can't avoid that. And then when someone new comes in, you can't overnight change to how they want you to be.
Yeah.
You know, players like Jacob Murphy as well came on today. He probably doesn't know whether he's going to be at Newcastle next season, but he gave everything tonight.
Yeah. That's all we want. That's all we want. To be honest. Just give everything. That's
Hey,
literally
there's
all we want.
Cesare in the chat. Big up Cesare. I see he's
Hey, I'm privileged to see the Hall era and even the Ashley era. If only I appreciate the Stavely era that much more.
Yeah.
You get 3 different perspectives, exactly.
the shark wrestler.
Thoughts on Mikkel's angry face all night?
Loved it.
Dude, he needs to literally grow up. He needs to grow up.
He's so arrogant and he's such a spy
He's-
little brat at times.
he's-
Like even
He
thinks
He
his
thi-
big brother Pep's going to stick up for him.
he literally thinks he's Billy big time, but he's
he
just
does, yeah.
I bet there's Arsenal fans blaming refs tonight too.
Johnny.
Hey,
Johnny lad,
Who was
you're
that?
upside
again?
down, mate. I'm doing one of them where the tits are sideways.
How was the game, Johnny? What were your thoughts? Was it as magical as it seemed on the TV, or was it a million times better than?
It was everything that you imagined and 10 times more. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Man of the match.
Oh, could have been anybody. Could have been absolutely anybody. If I had to put a name on it.
Bruno?
Wilson, I think. Callum Wilson.
Callum Wilson, yeah. No, Callum Wilson changed. We looked so different with him. We looked so different.
I'll come off the bus so I can talk to you properly. 2 seconds.
All right. I'll read off some comments a little bit. You're rejoicing because you won Arsenal. Well, it's more than that, but whatever.
Oh, well.
I'll be an Arsenal fan. It is what it
The
is.
Arsenal fans TV guys in yet, are they?
Would Liverpool or Man U
Cheers,
fill out
Pepper.
away sections in the away end after being relegated?
it's
Maybe
not
Liverpool-
about that win. It's about
Liverpool,
the future.
probably. I'm not sure about Man United, but
Liverpool
Oh.
would, yeah.
It was so good tonight.
Yeah,
Oh, it was absolutely incredible.
that's
Unreal.
awesome. Cesare, the Canadian Geordie. There you
you
go,
go,
Ryan. There you go. What'd you think of the display, Johnny?
Oh, do you know what it is? I've not really seen it properly. I've seen little pictures online, but I have to shout out to War Flags. Absolutely phenomenal.
Oh.
It was absolutely incredible. Like, I was in the Gallagher, so I could see what was in the Louises, obviously, and it was that blue. That blue's the blue star, which I'm sure all of you can acknowledge. It's a big part of Newcastle United. Absolutely incredible. What an absolute phenomenal display by War Flags. Really, really well done.
Has this been like where does this rank among the best final home games at St. James? Where does it? Is it because we
Tottenham
smashed?
5-1, even though we were down by
That one
then.
against Spurs was probably the best I've seen.
Even though we were down, it was
Yeah,
that kind. We actually, it's ironic. We stopped them from finishing second at the expense of, or like for the benefit of Arsenal. So I suppose we did Tottenham a bit of a solid again tonight. So
Oh, do you know what it is, right? I literally tweeted something about an hour ago saying you're welcome to Tottenham. It was, I don't know if you heard it, it was like about 10 minutes from the end saying Champions League, you're having a laugh. My phone has not stopped buzzing for the last hour from Tottenham fans saying, I'll buy you a pint the next time you're down the lane. Or thank you so much. You don't know what you've done for our club, kind of thing. I'm thinking, hold on a second. You wanted us out of the fucking Super League,
Johnny,
or whatever it's called.
I don't know about you, but for me, War Flags tonight made me feel 18 again.
Mate, honestly, do you know what it is, mate? Right? I'm not joking, Andy. Right? There's a little kid, 1 row below me. Him and his dad go to the games. He can't be any older than a 5-year-old, right? And he has no idea how good that club could be in the future. He'll have no idea, bless him, right?
yeah.
Little kid waving his flag around, no care in the world. Obviously, admiring the likes of Joe Linton and Bruno and everybody, and thinking this is just normal. My God, that kid, I'll have no idea. Can imagine if Newcastle win something in the next 5 years. He'll have no idea, bless him.
He's never going to remember the horrors of Mike Ashley, is he?
Well, good. I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't have to experience what we've had to experience over the years. Do you know, like for me today, honestly, I've never been so proud to be a Newcastle fan. Like it didn't like on the scale of things. You look at it like from a Premier League table point of view, it didn't matter if we won tonight. It didn't matter if we drew tonight. It didn't matter if we lost tonight. But because we played as well as we did, it makes it so much better. It makes it so much better.
It does. You're right.
It
Like,
makes my life better than Newcastle is good. Like I go watch Atlanta. We're not doing very well right now. We had a pretty good match yesterday. Won it, whatever. Everybody else is they're like, you're not even mad. And I was like, Newcastle's good. I don't need to be mad, right?
I think you guys need Miggy back.
I'm from Munich, so I have a love for Bayern Munich, and I never thought I'd say that next season I'm actually looking forward to Newcastle more than Bayern Munich. Because like
especially
the club now,
Lewandowski's gone to free,
Sorry,
Lewandowski's gone to free.
Do you know is I've just seen him down the big market, believe it or not.
Will be a bigger catch than Barcelona anyway.
Oh, do you know what it is, boys? like as much as we talk about how bad or how good some players are, the actual atmosphere tonight, I honestly I can't. I don't know if it replicated well on the television, especially towards the end. But when as soon as that second goal went in, oh my God! I don't think as much as I'm not bothered about Arsenal, but Arsenal just did not cope with it. Just did not cope very well.
Yeah,
like Dubravka's not had to get his hands dirty tonight, which is unbelievable, really.
I actually think that one that Wilson chipped and it just went wide. I think that was actually the death of Arsenal right there tonight, because they were just like, that should have gone in. I don't know how. Everybody's like, I don't know how it didn't go in, and I don't think they were on the pitch again after that.
Jay, I think I've probably heard you go. It's in. It's
Being
in.
a woman at that point.
Right, I know you're probably 10,000 miles away.
There's something, Johnny. You should have to get Dubravka on the Greenwood Milner show just so he's got to work for his money this week.
Well, do you know what it is? You know what it is, Andy? It's a very, very good point. Very, very good point that we'll have to try and get him on. But do you know what it is? Like, even like we were obviously doing the videos afterwards, and we were waiting. We were obviously walking down, and like all the players were coming out, and the amount of people just waiting to see like Federico Fernandez, who didn't even touch the ball tonight. It's just remarkable. But do you know what it is? I'm over the moon, but I'm gutted as well. Because I've got to wait 3 months until the next home game. 3 months.
Yeah, I know. That's but to be honest, it is a win-win, to be honest, because now we have the summer transfer window. So
I know, but I know.
Yeah.
But it's 3 long months.
You know what? The first game of the Premier League season, I'd love to see Newcastle against Bournemouth, but at Bournemouth's ground. I forget what it's called.
Vitality Stadium.
Vitality.
I love that.
Used to be Dean Court for the older fan.
Dean Court.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good first game. Yeah.
It would, yeah. It's
He
always
would get Eddie Howe would get a good reception too.
That
would be.
He made Bournemouth.
Yeah. Exactly.
Do you think Eddie will get the credit he deserves actually from other people? I do not.
It has to.
You think
I don't think. No, I think a lot of people will be they'll have too much pride to admit that Eddie Howe has been a success at Newcastle so far. They won't want to admit they're wrong.
I'd be curious to see what Simon Jordan
Can also say as well, this is one for Eddie Howe as well, because he was linked with the Arsenal job back not too long ago.
Yeah.
And he's kind of
touted as a future England manager.
The only thing I'll say about
he's kind of said, well, you could have had me, but you choose not to.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say about Eddie Howe is I know he's had a little bit of money to spend, and yeah, they've all played a part in certain ways. But when we played Watford, I think a lot of Newcastle fans had given up. I think they thought, do you know what, we're going to have to rebuild. We're going to have to drop down a division to get ourselves back up.
Especially conceding a late equaliser against Watford.
I think I came on after that draw. I think I came on after that draw. I said, Steve, I think we'll just survive. And then you're like, I don't know, Ryan.
No, I literally, bro, I was white hot pissed after that João Pedro goal. I was like, we're down. We're
87 minute or something like that.
We're down. And especially after the Cambridge, I'm like, we're down. We're so down. It's not
I would
Eddie's
love to see the Newcastle fans after we got the Cambridge going. We're definitely going to stay up. We're on the verge. We're going to finish in the top 10, maybe. Like, it's ridiculous.
No one would have said that. Absolutely no one.
No.
I will say
17th was a stretch, let alone 10th.
At the end of November, I'm on one of these things. You can find it. And I was like, we don't win a game in December, and we stay up. I didn't think it'd go like this. Like I thought we would escape. I literally said that we would escape on 37 points, and we'll see because it's going to be real close if 37 is the number.
Yeah.
I think
Next weekend.
the real test is as well making sure we win against Burnley as well.
Jake,
Not making
Yep.
just a game that we've
We'll
won at
control
home.
that
We've got to
game.
go and perform away from home.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the Burnley game? Because to be honest with you, I'm kind of not fussed if we lose, purely because we tend to have a good record against Burnley, and I do think Everton or Leeds, if the two of them stay up, they'd prove a sterner test, say, next season for us. But imagine seeing Everton go down.
Look, I don't mind if
Steve's got a bet on for Everton to go down, so he's begging us to lose.
Do you know what it is? I'm not bothered. You'll have to watch this. You'll have to watch this bit on the last word tonight or tomorrow morning whenever Lee gets us out. But it's a really, really good talking point actually, because I would love Everton to get relegated. I would love Leeds to get relegated. Just because both sets of fans really frustrate me. I think they think they're a lot bigger than what they are. But you know what? Watching Newcastle win tonight means so much more than Everton or Leeds going down. It really
Exactly.
does.
Yes, I agree. We're going to do Leeds and Everton a great favor because we're going to destroy Burnley. Right?
No, we literally. I'm gonna 3-0.
Yeah, I think we go in there and play something like we did tonight, and we just go wild on them. And then so I don't know. I've already got a beer round promised to me from one of my Tottenham expat buds over here. I don't know anybody who supports Everton or Leeds, but you can buy me a beer with Bitcoin if you want to, right? Because we're gonna wreck Burnley for you.
Absolutely, yeah. No, for real. Did
Johnny Lott get
come
on?
on, Connor? Of course. Welcome to the party. You know what, guys? Is it 12 a.m. in the UK? We got 182 viewers. What the hell? This is great. Our channel literally does.
We're fucking massive.
Win.
Hit the like, everybody.
Hit the like. Anyways, Connor, what are your thoughts, man? Wow.
Wow, yeah. Well, I'd sort of said in the chat, I sort of was out and about, so I didn't see loads of it. I've just came back and listened about 20 minutes ago, so I watched some highlights there on YouTube, and they're absolutely brilliant.
What you meant to say, Connor, what you meant to say is that you've just watched the match reaction and you agreed with everything that Johnny just said.
And me, of course.
Obviously, Johnny, you're always right.
Don't be another one of them.
Listen, it was brilliant, and to be honest with you, I think Arsenal actually got the road, or down the road rather, thinking we're very lucky we didn't get embarrassment there, because that could have been 4 or 5. Some of the time.
It is literally.
And it probably should have been 4 or 5.
Yeah, 2 of them definitely. The one right at the end, I think, was a great deal. He's got to score that. I mean, he's literally 5 yards out or something, 6 yards out. Good save for the keeper. He's got to get into the corner, and the keeper's not going to have a chance. Or just lift it. But hey, we still won, so it doesn't really matter. But no, as I said in the chat, I thought it's a perfect way to sign off at home, and to its part has been amazing. 1 defeat, and it comes to Liverpool, who are chasing a quadruple, and it was only 1-0, and we really
Only 1-0, yeah.
So I think there's if we can continue that going into next season and keep building.
I'm gonna have to head off, boys. I'm gonna have to head off because I'm gonna run out.
Hey, take care, Johnny.
But can I just quickly say,
Johnny, be cool.
Can I just quickly say to the obviously the majority of the lads that have been long-term subscribers of Newcastle Fans TV, thank you so much for all your support and coming on the channel, and probably taking too much of your time as it is anyway. So we do really appreciate it, and don't stop. Keep coming on your fan cams and reactions and everything, and tell us why we're wrong or why we're right at X, Y, and Z, because you've been absolutely brilliant. But I just want to say a big thank you to all of these, because the fan reaction show doesn't get as many views as his own pop along. So a big thanks to you all. Okay. I'll see you later anyway.
Hey, take care, Johnny. Take care. I just put everyone on mute for a minute, but yeah, thanks, Johnny. That's
I'm gonna cry.
shit,
I'm gonna cry in a second.
Take care, Johnny. See you, man.
On that note, I'd like to say hats off to Johnny, all the lads on the normal channel, because None of us would be sitting here if we didn't sit and watch them.
Exactly.
So hats off to them.
Yep.
Including you, Steve.
Hey, thanks, man. Thanks.
As we like to say, respect the graft. Because if you had to do this every day, you'd have a different view of it. So
Absolutely.
I personally
But it's such a great platform to have lads like, say, I'm living in Ireland, Jay and Steve are in America, Ryan's in Canada,
Yeah, there you go.
Scotland, England, you know.
I'm not a Yank.
No, I had to make sure, yeah.
Guys with one almost.
Right, and Ryan, Scotland, you know, like it's great to have all these countries in one fan cam with all the same goal, I suppose, the same thought process about the club. It's a great channel for that, like, so it's great to be part of it.
The thing I love is we can all have so many different opinions, but we'll all just get on with it. And
exactly.
And then you've got the guru in the corner there talking about stats and things that we didn't even know existed. Well, he's had this many touches in the box in the last 2 years, and he's only sitting watching 7 laptops on a daily basis. You know what I mean?
All of you.
Doesn't get the credit he's due.
Mm-hmm.
Look, that Nigeria, that's awesome.
I told all you guys about Bruno from the moment we bought him. I'm like, this kid is a superstar. The only thing I was wrong about Bruno is I didn't see the goals and assists, but that's because at Lyon he was played.
He scored 2 goals, wasn't it? I think 2 goals he scored for Lyon.
Steve, I never watched him before he came.
I just hope we'll have a Hakan Chungalungu moment. We'll sign Hakan Chungalungu and I can go, I told you.
Chalanoglu, yeah. You gotta say it right, Andy. Chalanoglu.
It doesn't matter. It's when he hits the ball, I don't care. He hits the ball.
Best free kick taker around.
It's called supporting your favorite team, and we'll all have different reasons I just love this club so much. Speaking of...
I did call Luis Diaz about 8 months ago, by the way.
Yeah, you did.
Before,
you did.
Yeah.
Well, that's
said what's a player.
That's the
I didn't think he'd be that good, but...
You know, you think in the summer last year we were all grumbling because we wouldn't pay Leicester City a loan fee to sign Hamza Chowdhury.
Chowdhury.
You know,
Hamza Chowdhury.
Hamza Chowdhury.
Where we are.
We've got...
Couldn't even get him on loan.
We've gone from not paying a loan fee for Hamza fucking Chowdhury to a genuine world-class midfielder in Bruno.
Yeah.
It's like going from Susan Boyle to Melinda Messenger, isn't it?
It's just, it boggles the mind. Like, it's fucking hell, man.
It does completely boggle the mind. It's impossible. Are we in goal 4, but a better version of it or something? Is that what's happening? Okay.
Well, we did sign Santiago Munoz, so, you know.
We did. But no, that's one thing you could say about comparing the Mike Ashley to the new owners. We bulked that signing Chowdhury on loan. And then with the new ones, we buy Bruno for 40 million. That's just like, what a contrast! And
in his defense, he just signed our player of the season.
No.
Well, we got.
Before I get hammered on social media, that's not me defending Mike Ashley. I'm just pointing the point out. You know.
By the way, who is everyone's player of the season?
Joe Linton.
I'd say it was Joe Linton, to be honest. I think Shar could have been second behind him.
Yeah, good shout.
I think Joe Linton, purely because I think if you look at a player in the squad whose improvement has been unbelievable.
It's been crucial to our success. We couldn't have done what we done without Bruno. Or sorry, well, without Bruno, yeah, but without
and Joe Linton. But,
yeah.
But like, for Joe Linton to go from a hapless centre forward where Bruce just fucked him up there and you just hold up the ball, whatever, like not being able to. Eddie Howe actually went in. He saw something in Joe Linton that none of us saw. And look, I never envisaged Joe Linton becoming the midfielder he's become. He's been absolutely amazing since Eddie Howe's come in, and props to him for improving because, like I said, no one saw that coming. So props to him and Eddie Howe for actually allowing this to be possible.
Dylan, I think
Dylan,
you're right.
as you're saying, let's put it this way. How old was he when he signed? He was 21-year-old, yeah?
21 or 22, yeah.
Number 9 for Newcastle. £40 million price tag.
Mm-hmm.
He's moved to a foreign country. He's had a poor season the first season. Granted, he's been battered for it. I mean,
he was a laughing stock, simple as.
Strength to get over that.
Mm-hmm.
Walk around the Metro Centre on a regular basis and still shake everyone's hand and still say hello to everybody and then be asked, do you want to be a midfielder? Or would you mind filling in midfield? And having that, for me, just that humidity to go, do you know what it is? I think I'm probably best there for the team. So,
Can I say about Joe Linton?
The trophy he deserves, and I guarantee every single one of his teammates,
would be
if
happy.
anybody else had been given player of the season, they would have been upset because for
Yeah.
someone that young to take on that pressure with that price tag
and turn it
and
around.
that pressure in that grief he got in the crowd. I've been to games where he got grief. Salute.
Yeah,
Well done.
completely.
Who's this?
I'll jump in a couple times here. So I agree. He's the best player for the year for us, not just in the. Sometimes you make a argument about a most valuable player over here in the U.S. about is it their skills and what they've contributed, or is it their leadership of the team? And as Dylan and Andrew have both pointed out here, I think that his success with Eddie early, you think the other players couldn't see what, the vitriol that frankly people like me were yelling at the internet. I'm the asshole here. I was wrong. I freely admit it. I said
I was too. All of us were.
Again,
We're all
worst signing ever. All kinds of nasty. It was personal, but I was definitely aggressive about it. But so if I can be that way, people can see that, and the other players can see what he's getting, and then he agrees to the deal, as Andrew just said, and Eddie works with him. You think every other player on that pitch doesn't look at that and be like, wow, okay, this can work, because he was in one of the toughest spots, and that's why I think he's player of the season. Because even when we weren't winning, he was playing shockingly well in the fall. We had never seen before, and that's why I think he's the player of the season.
He's shown incredible resilience and staying power to have actually become what he has. And it might be a bit ambitious, but I tell you, he keeps the way he's going. He's not going to be. He might be a bit of a distance off the Brazil squad now, but give it another year or two. I tell you, if he keeps this up and an extra 5-10%, there's no reason why he couldn't at least make the Brazil squad.
If Fred gets injured or he can't play for whatever reason, Joe Linton can do what Fred does.
How he's not ahead of Fred already is
baffling.
It's like, I mean, really?
Big club bias.
Well, I'm sorry to Joe Linton because I obviously don't know jack about this game, right? So
yeah.
But it just shows what happens when you get the right manager and the right coach.
For me, it just shows somebody. He could have went into his shell and says, I want to leave this club. Get me out of here.
Well, under Steve Bruce,
and he didn't.
It just didn't. I mean, Graham Jones, again, does that transition, whereas Eddie Howe comes in, all of a sudden, he is worth every penny of the £40 million that was spent.
Exactly.
Yep.
Not a word wrong said here, by the way. I think he's a shocking manager. Yeah. Needs to go to a championship club, maybe. To be fair, those within the club, they always said Joe Linton trained the hardest. And then there's another comment about his best work was when he dropped back into a midfield role and threw the tackles, and I'm glad Howe's seen it. Joe Linton is Vieira. I saw someone earlier call him he's our Essien. He's our Michael Essien.
Someone made a joke saying that he kept walking back home with Steve Bruce going to a kebab shop. That's why he was lazy, because he was all the kebabs he was eating. So, yeah.
Joe Linton hired himself a stats company to identify his strengths and where to improve. Clark sending off moved Joe Linton into midfield. Hats off to Eddie for keeping him in mid. Yeah. Oh, God.
We said that before. Maybe Kieran's injury is our event of the season, which none of us wanted to see, but that's what made the space, and that's what started all this.
Yeah, absolutely. Modern day Patrick Vieira.
I do love that shirt in the background, mind.
Which shirt?
Jay's shirt in the background.
Oh, Jay's? What does it look like?
The only problem with his head is it's in the way. It's lovely, that.
Yeah, that's
the trip. Alex
Shearer right after this
testimonial.
And what's funny is it's a big size shirt, and I used to be quite a bit smaller, and I was like, I'll never be to wear it, so I put it in the box. And now I could unbox it, and it was me now. Right? So, and then I met him one time, and I got his autograph there in the corner. So
I'm open to favors, if it fits.
It's a big boy size, I assure you. So.
I'm not joking. If Darlington keeps improving like this, he could easily be a Patrick Vieira. He's literally not far off. Like
Michael Essien or something like that. Yeah, definitely.
He's yeah. And I mean, if he can go from 0 to what he's at now, he's got more in the tank, and he'll at least damn try. That's the other thing too. You can't ever question his effort. Yeah, it's insane. Remember, Joe Linton was a joke. Not now. Do
you know what I think helps as well, though, that keeps players motivated and keeps them going, is that they know now, under Steve Bruce, most of the players that knew they were pretty much undroppable because there wasn't anybody enough to come in and replace them. Whereas now, everybody is starting to fire on all cylinders, so they know that drop your levels down and you can easily be replaced the next week because somebody can now come in and fill that. And it's good to see, like, some of the players we've seen today will probably leave in the summer. But there are one or two that have definitely got talent there that you would keep to try. I still personally would keep Sean Longstaff about the club because I think he's got a lot more. He's still young enough to do that.
Why are you putting me on the spot?
That's awesome.
Sorry, Connor. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was still listening, though.
No, just to say, I think you've got to do that because if you've got players who you've got in the background growing and constantly getting better, it means that the first team players know they're not as safe. And I think, Sean Longstaff should stand out for me because I do like him. I think he does have a talent there. And to be fair, what I would say, his pass for the second goal. Absolutely, it was exquisite to get it through. Yeah. He did, and the way he did, it was a very intelligent piece of play, and it allowed Callum Wilson to get in and cause the havoc that he can cause. Which, by the way, seeing the highlights, the difference, and I like Chris Wood, but the difference Callum Wilson up front makes is
Wilson.
But that's why we need another striker in the summer.
He gave us an extra dimension, an added dimension.
Yep.
He gave us runs in behind. He has a similar strength, kind of a similar, I wouldn't say build, but physicality to Wood. He made a chance there. I can't remember quite who he set up, but he muscled was a white off the ball and then played it to someone at the edge of the box. But like Callum Wilson tonight showed what we've been missing, what we haven't had in Chris Wood. That's someone that causes defenders issues, that gets in behind, that has pace about him. And I've seen a lot of Newcastle fans say because he's injury prone, we should get rid of Callum Wilson. Absolutely not. He's an invaluable member, like, to have as a squad player.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are changing their minds on Longstaff now, and like, I think if
I'm not convinced.
I'm not convinced, but
he was excellent tonight. Like I'm a huge critic.
Let's see it some more. It doesn't have to be. He doesn't have to be 8 or 9 out of 10, but
he has to prove it more because
to get the best out of him. If there's more to come, I think Eddie Howe's the right person there, and him and Jason Tyndall, I think, can really work on getting him there. He's not going to be a starter. He will be, somebody will be a bit of part. He'll come on as a sub. But if he can get that valuable, good bit of experience with Eddie Howe, I think it will only help him because he's still young as well. And whatever happens to him, I don't think any of his have any ill will towards him. We would all wish him well whenever he went. So
Yeah.
he's got the right learning tree. And as I say, that same as Joe Linton, that's important for players. It really is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Well, there was
off-road
wasn't there a few times tonight? Wasn't there a few times tonight where you would expect if someone like Chris would have been playing that he would have bossed people, but Chris, for example, there was we got a corner in the first 20 minutes, and Wilson and one of the defenders were tangling up each other, and you could see Wilson was just trying to get him into a physical battle, like knocking him off when he was trying to get up. I think Dylan is knocking on what I was trying to say. Like 18, I think it was the 18th minute. He's getting up and he's just get off us.
Yeah.
We don't see enough of that from Chris Wood. For me, he's a big guy, but he's a little bit placid. It's a bit like that big friendly giant. Yes, he's a big guy. If he's in the air, he's going to do you damage. But how many times have we seen him being placid when the balls hit him?
I
want to be him being aggressive. Wilson for me was...
Dude, Chris Wilson, that would be insane.
Aye, Chris, that's a new name. Callum Wilson for me was, as soon as he was on the pitch today, he let them defenders know, I'm going to run you, I'm going to hassle you, I'm going to bully you, and I'm going to have a fight with you. And I'm also better than you on the ball.
Exactly.
So I'm going to give you a game. Yeah. Don't get us wrong, that's not me saying he does it all the time. But my God, he sent a message out to the owners to say, I'm here to stay.
Yeah.
Get rid of him and keep me, because one of them two is going to go.
Yeah.
Problem is fitness, though, is that Callum Wilson...
That's the issue, yeah.
He's spent far too long this season on the sidelines, and that's been a theme since he's been here. That is just not... He's been stop-start. He keeps getting that good run of games, and then he picks up.
That is the problem, exactly.
But a lot of that, though, is down to the fact that we have no depth, or we had no depth.
Exactly.
Now, that if we can get... I think they'll still chance Chris Wood for at least next season, because they put 25 million into him. So
they need a Dwight Gale replacement.
We need minimum maybe 2 strikers. Ekitike seems close. So
Ekitike can play left wing too. That's the other thing. He's versatile.
I'd go for Jovic, considering Mbappe is going to Madrid, so just fall down the pecking order.
I would take a shot on Jovic, because it clearly
he's a good striker. He's a good player.
Just because you're not good enough for Real Madrid doesn't mean you can't be a good player. I think Jovic.
What's his attributes? Good
in the air.
All right, he's good in the air. He's not brilliant in the air. He's not blessed with a load of pace. He's not the greatest technically. I don't see it as an improvement on Wilson. At least Wilson, he can play a certain way. With Jovic, he kind of stuck like Chris Wood.
He's more mobile than Wood, though. He's not as big a frame.
That's what lets Chris Wood down for me, is as a solo striker, you have to have mobility. I feel like Jovic has that.
He's got no leg. Jovic has got no legs either. He's like Mitrovic.
Jovic, yeah.
Mitrovic is like Jovic.
Positionally is what he does well. Jovic and Mitrovic, they get their positioning spot on. Yeah, I wouldn't mind Jovic. I think for me, like, to be honest, Callum Wilson it'd be a dream scenario if we could get in a striker and Wilson is our bench option. Fucking hell, we bring on Wilson as a sub.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
It would be great to
we will see the best of. We'll see the best of Callum Wilson if we have depth in the striking department. Like I said, Ekitike seems close.
Yeah.
If we got another striker in, Patrick Schick, Luka Jovic, someone moderately decent that can challenge him, then we'll see the best of Wilson, because the workload won't be on him as much, and he'll have games where he can rest. The weight of the team won't be on his shoulders to do anything that as often as it has been in the 2.5 years that he's been with us. So Callum Wilson, I think, will benefit from us having more depth in the striking department.
The thing is, if we're going to go similar for similar, I'd go Osuamin.
Yeah.
Osimhen.
We'd have to
Yeah.
put him for him because I feel like Napoli will want
You're going to
get
go like
more
for
than
like.
75 million.
He's a like for like replacement.
And
for me.
Osimhen is like Wilson, and he's younger, and it's like he's on freaking steroids.
people
Osimhen runs teams absolutely
I
ragged.
thought, is one of our targets not supposed to be Darwin Nunez from Benfica?
Darwin Nunez, yeah.
He scored something insane, like I don't know, like 30 or 40 odd goals in Portugal this season.
Yeah, and in his first season,
Portugal too. I find
a lot of good players come out of Portugal too. A lot.
lately, I find from Premier League perspective, it's France and Portugal for me. I find
the
best. Those are the best. Like
that's an open question, mate, isn't it?
Bundesliga, I think, have a lot of good players.
Yeah,
young
Bundesliga,
players.
yeah.
Is anybody else saying that question? What do you think of Sky Sports?
I mean, they're just
Alan Smith could not have been more biased.
I don't get that, man. We're the home team. Why couldn't we get the
for half an hour before our game? They're talking about the Man City game. It's been and gone. Like
they talked
even
about
even at half time.
They're talking about Leeds and Brighton too.
Yeah,
all the highlights already.
But even at half time, was it Gary Neville said that Arsenal looked a better team or they were in the better position than Newcastle? What? And then I said to myself, was he watching that game?
Exactly. Couldn't be watching the same game. Couldn't be.
No.
What do you guys think of Ivan Toney?
That's not a bad show.
Not good enough. Not good enough.
I think, but the thing is, with Christian Eriksen, he's shown to be. He just needs that guy to create for him a bit.
Steve, how many goals has he got this season?
9.
And how many penalties?
12, I think. 12 or 13. He's got a decent penalty. Yeah, he's got. But it's up for debate. But I think he won't be the worst option. But all depends on the price tag because he's English, so there's.
38 million.
Not a chance.
He's English and he's young. He's going to cost a lot of money. He's not worth it.
They probably look for upwards of 40, 50 million.
Yeah, we got to go for.
And it's similar to what I have when
nearly 40% of his goals are penalties.
Well, my problem with Tony, and similarly to when there's been conversations about Mitrovic as well, I don't want us. We have to continuously look forward. I don't want us to look back and let's bring back players we let go in the past.
Let's bring back Rafa. Let's bring
We have to look forward now and aim bigger.
Exactly.
All respect to Ivan Toney, but aim bigger than him. And if you're going to spend 38-40 million pounds on a striker, I don't want it to be in a striker that we had before and let go, and as admittedly has done well at Brentford, but as Andy said, hasn't scored the amount of goals you need.
There's one option for me to go back for it. Mikel Marino, I think, for me.
I love Marino. Was I maintain he was our biggest mistake to let go of. I know he wanted to go back to Spain, but he had something about him back in 2018. He just had that it factor almost about him, and genuinely, I was gutted when he left. And
he's been really good for Sociedad. Yeah,
I still like to look out for him because I'd love him to return one day.
City are linked with him.
He was brilliant. Yeah, Man City linked for 50 million for him. Yeah.
So can I ask a bigger question here? Because I read the player transfers and get sucked into all that, and I'm terrible at that aspect of the game, but I'm pretty good at finances of the game. How much money do you guys think that we'll net? Pick what we're going to get for Amaran or whatever. So see, that's the thing that really controls this is they're going to have some kind of number in their head, and that only chops in the 40s and 50s so many ways, and then you got to look at your value.
I reckon.
And I actually believe what Howe said maybe 5-6 weeks ago, and of course he would say this, but he said we're not going to spend as much money as people think we are. Yeah, and I kind of believe that. I do think we'll spend money. I absolutely think we'll buy players. But I don't think we're going to blow it out of the water. Watch what Man U does. Watch.
It'll be shrewd. It'll be like a January window that we had. It'll be sensible.
We don't need to spend more than 55 million on a player.
On a player.
For me, total spend is going to be about 160 million net.
I'd say, roughly.
When I mean by 160 million net, I'm on about contracts,
Yeah.
I'm on about
Wages.
so about 110 on transfers, and then your outgoings. So probably 200 in all. But then you've got to take into account the money that you're taking in transfer fees, then the money that's not coming out your wage bill.
Mhm.
You know, if someone's on 20 grand a week, that's $1 million a year.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
under by
I don't think a
75.
lot of people realise that like 20 grand a week is nothing now for a footballer.
Yeah.
It is.
So I'd be quite happy if our net spend is somewhere around about 120, 130 million quid, because we're going to be getting Gale off with Brooks. He's on good money. We're going to be getting possibly Darlow. I mean,
Kieran
not that
Clark.
I mean, them
all the
types of players.
championship, all the ones who will sell the championship will all together, I think, will be 20 mil max, because they're each like 3 to 5 million, I'd say.
That's why I think Miggy will go, because he is one of the players that
You could
value.
get 15.
You can grab a
maybe.
fee
he will
for.
pay double digits for him, right?
Yeah.
Right. And I hate that. I love the boy. I wish he wasn't going, but it is what it is.
He probably is. Yeah.
So, go ahead.
So you
I think
finished there now, is it?
Lately, that he's worth keeping about.
I would
No,
actually.
he's been
I
excellent
honestly think
recently.
he's worth keeping about.
I mean, look,
Because
he's
he
my
can play
favorite.
3 different positions.
I feel I'm pretty objective. If I say that it's time for him to go, as his biggest fan from Atlanta and his work rate and all that other feels good kind of stuff, but it is. He's just a casualty of the Bruce era. Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
I do get that
Yeah.
feeling too.
I
I'd
wish
like him to stay around, but I
think
just
Yeah.
can't see it.
and they're going to get a very good deal, right? If he can just.
I'm probably thinking with that rather than that.
Yeah.
So it's like
The point will be about, you've got to be shrewd, not just about the players you bring in, but the players you sell, because you have to let players go that you can easily fill those voids and that are going to be kind of surplus requirements, but B, you're going to get enough money to really justify going out there, because there's going to be players that you're basically letting them go. Like Dwight Gale, you're probably lucky if you get £2 million for him these days.
Yeah, if even.
You have
But
to.
he's out of contract as it
lower
is,
ones
so
are
that
the ones that you can look at. And I think one thing about Eddie Howe is I do get the feeling that that there might not be as many players that will leave as we think, because I think Eddie Howe will show a bit of loyalty to some of the players that have got us out of the position we're in just now. Because let's not forget, people can talk all they want about, we spent 100 million. We
Crazy.
spent more than that and got nowhere. Whereas these players that were still there, considering Trippier and Wilson both have been out, and Trippier is only just well, a lot of those players, at least 7 or 8 members
That's
of that
$2.5
squad
million a year, by the way.
are already there. So I think some of them will have earned that bit of loyalty from Eddie Howe to say, right, let's see what you can do, given a full crack at the whip under a proper regime that knows what the hell they're doing.
Sales.
And you get there, but it is important, because I think one of the most important things for us next season, above all, is to be competitive in all matches. That's not to say we need to go and beat Man City or anything like that, but to be a bit more competitive. Because I don't like us going into games against Man City and just going, we'll get turned over 5-0. Because every team that plays in this 5-0, plenty of teams do have their moments where they can be competitive.
Steve,
there's no reason.
one question, mate. Am I allowed to have a cigarette on here?
I don't care. Go for it.
I've seen it before,
I'm
Andy.
shouting for a tab. Sorry, I'm going to try and
Watch Levy having a fit in the background right now.
Who cares?
Sorry, lads.
Andy, I literally drink myself to death on here. You're fine.
As it's called.
Don't blame me for your drinking. Just because you speak to me till 5 in the morning.
I'm blaming this all on this guy right here for me drinking.
Hey, so could I make a new?
But to answer Paige's question, I think she's asked a good question there, and my argument would be 3 or 4 players for 40, 50 million pound, say 160 million on transfers, and then the money that you recoup would be a good summer. The players that they're going to buy it on, I mean, there might be 160, 70 million and 120 million, you never know. But
Harrogate for 15 million is a no-brainer.
I don't know what your lads' thoughts are.
I'm gonna make the comments like a really good question, but I feel like I could make a video about that for the summer. So, but if I had to give names right away, here's who I'm looking at: goalkeeper Alban Lafont from Nantes, Looking at for right back, possibly Jonathan Klaus from Lens. Looking at right back. Not sure about right back yet, except Klaus, but
Lamptey.
Tariq Lamptey. Yeah. Center back, I think Evan Ndika from Frankfurt.
Ndika, he is amazing.
Yeah.
He is
Ndika or the guy or the other Eintracht Frankfurt center back, Tuta. He's Brazilian.
Tuta,
There's
yeah.
another
Hakan Chungalungu.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, he does move around a lot.
Mate, all of them.
Yeah, you do.
That's his gimmick on this channel is Hakan Çalhanoğlu.
Imagine Bruno and Hakan Chungalungu and Mathieu. Oh
Sitting
my
over
God.
a freak. Oh, you don't know who's gonna take. No, Çalhanoğlu would take it every time. Çalhanoğlu would score from that guy scored from the halfway line off free kick.
For Hamburg against Dortmund, that was
It's
the
the
most
corners
ridiculous
as well.
free kick I ever saw.
Juninho type thing. Yeah.
Juninho
corners as
times
well.
10.
For Dan Burn. I mean, you've seen how many times he
Oh.
assists a goal from a corner playing at Milan.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
For center backs page also, I'm looking at Alessandro Bastoni. I think he's going to be one of the best center backs in the world. My only concern is that I haven't seen him play 4 at the back because he plays 3 at the back under Inzaghi at Inter Milan. Still, regardless, I think he's an amazing prospect. He's only 20.
Yeah.
Or at center back, so Ndika, Bastoni.
Tarkovsky on a free.
Tarkovsky on a free.
No.
I think he's a very good defender.
Burn. I feel like
He cannot play the ball off. He's Lascelles. That's all he is.
Yeah.
He's Lascelles. But
For a free, it's worth a punt on a free.
Better to Lascelles.
If you
Paqueta, by the
hit
way,
him, you can't play the ball up from the back.
Would any of you guys take Paul Pogba on
I'm
a
sorry,
free?
I'm sorry, Dylan.
No, I don't think he'd
disagree with
fit.
you.
I don't think he'd fit it. What we're trying to do.
No.
Could we let Ian, because I feel like he's been wanting to say something for quite a while.
What was it?
I'm saying, could we let Jay in, because I feel like he's been wanting to say something for a while.
Oh yeah, Jay, go for it.
I have been, but I'm loud anyway in real life, so I'm trying to not
Me
talk.
too.
So look, just here's because I can't track all the names, like I'll read the things and be up by the summer, but like you need to grok this about FFP and what doom is coming for us. So somebody asked a question about how to get to 200 or 150 and other things, and Andrew made a very nuanced point about how you recoup more than just the transfer cost. It's a bunch of other stuff rolled in.
Wages, bonuses.
Mm-hmm.
But now, so Hendrick on 50, God almighty, makes me angry.
That's ridiculous.
But that our future is ridiculous. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
When agents realize their player may come up here, right? By here, I mean globally here at Newcastle. We live.
Yeah.
They're going to get that money from them. So we're going to go net backwards on salaries and bonuses. So if you want to count that in the 200, that's fine. But we'd really be burning 240 if you want to do all that math. So if you just stick on the transfers for a second, and you say like, could we spend $120, $130? That's kind of where my head's at, probably, and no more than that. So it's like 250s and some value, or 150 and some value. But the problem is all of this stuff goes into FFP. It all goes in. And so we're Newcastle and we'll pay a lot in salary, and we will pay a lot in salary. Yeah. That clock is running on us right now, and it's still running and running and running. The math, and I'm sorry, I'm wrapping up. I think they know this way better than I do as a ranked amateur here on the internet.
Spreadsheet man knows his shit.
So I just think they make value plays, because I don't think they have to go to Europe right now. I don't think they think that. I mean, we don't want to regress or really be in 11th, but I don't think they feel like they've got to buy some mega player to make this happen.
Yeah.
So I think they'll be conservative all that together. Thanks, Connor, because that's what I was trying to work in as you guys were running all the new players.
No, but
you've been one in the past to really point out the mathematics of everything when you're on about your spreadsheets. And this is what I was trying to get at before about wages. It's not what the wages we're going to be paying. It's the wages we need to get off.
Yeah.
Yep.
We need to get them off our wage bill. I mean, supposedly Chris Wood's on £105,000 a week.
Oh!
That's reported.
He's never going to leave that.
And
Like, he will see that out.
So
You've got a problem. You've got a problem in the summer, in my eyes, that he's not going to be wanted to stay in our squad. Really.
Yep.
You've then got to loan him out. You're going to be paying part of his wages to get him out.
Probably still upwards of 80 grand, probably.
Correct.
But that's
Correct.
pay for us, except for FFP. Our owners aren't going to be like Mike Ashley and say, I don't want to pay this. They'll pay it. But they're smart enough. I think they actually personally understand. I think Amanda personally understands exactly what you're talking about. She doesn't need a finance wonk to tell her this. She already knows this.
But
I just want them to do well with that.
You brought it up there, Jay, about them being smart, and January proved they have their heads screwed on when it comes to dealing. I was reading there, I think it's the Jesse Lingard deal to Newcastle is dead now, because reportedly he was wanting around 150 to 200 grand a week. But
Which is double what you would pay him.
the board simply said it's not feasible because we're not going to get a return on that investment. So that shows they have their head screwed on when it comes to the financial side of it. So we'll see how it plays out. And
sorry,
they'll be sure enough because they have to. Because players, and not just players, but agents and all the rest of it as well, will see a club like us and go, "They're now the richest club in the world. They've got all this big bag of money here.
They'll have to pay a premium."
Whereas the board, and I think that's the great position we're in, is that we don't have to take players on any given terms they want. We can clearly say, yeah, you're all right, because you know what? There'll be other people who will happily come in for less money than the back. And somebody like Jesse Lingard, quite frankly, is not worth that kind of money.
He's worth about 30.
Well,
between 30 and 50 for me is what I would be paying him.
50 to 75, I'd probably say, because he proved at West Ham he's a top player, but he's what, 31 now.
You would actually give him, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. He's nearly 31 or 32 now, so you might get 2 decent years out of him, but he'd probably be looking at a full 4 or 5 year contract, so it would make no sense.
Trying to cash out, but we're not desperate.
When you could invest that money on Bowen from West Ham.
Bowen is a brilliant player. Imagine.
Now, Jay, question for you. How does this Saudi Aramco potential sponsor thing affect the FFP?
Well, they're going to be hamstrung by the new policies where they're not allowed to run wild. Thanks, Man City. Man City really showed how to do that. Like they were like, hold my beer as they funneled sponsor money in. So everybody got together and said that's not a great idea. Newcastle objected to it, but of course we would. But it will help. We'll basically get a max deal, even if it is Saudi Aramco or the golf sponsor.
Saudi Golf,
We're going to get a max deal that will work, right? That's what's going to happen. Whatever the sponsorship costs, we're going to get the new version of a max deal. You see what I'm saying? Like whatever that is going forward from now. You won't get the city deals from say 2012 to 2015, that kind of stuff. Yeah, it absolutely will help. That offsets against the FFP as well too, because that's brand revenue once it's capped out. What we're really the thing that super hurts Newcastle in the big picture, that Liverpool and Arsenal, to a lesser degree Tottenham, but all the big boys roll in, is their brand value so high. And then they get Europe results, and all that piles into the big buckets. We're working on our brand, and our brand between January and now is so much more valuable. What they're doing is working. People see that it's working as manifested by wins. And so our sponsor deal is going to help. But over the next 4 years, what I look for, the biggest and fastest pile to grow, which we can just use worldwide economics to do, is our brand value.
Yes.
All free money, right? That is all. If you sell a bajillion Liverpool shirts, you're within certain structures of all that. You can only make so much money from England. You can only make so much money even if you win the Champions League. That is also.
And that's one thing. That's one thing. The controversial, supposedly new leaked away jersey or third jersey, whatever it will be. That's a clever move on the part. Sales in Saudi Arabia are going to boost, or like the shirt sales are going to skyrocket because of a jersey that resembles Saudi Arabia so much. They'll almost see Newcastle as a symbol of Saudi Arabia when it comes to a jersey like that. So it mightn't be to everyone's taste, but I'll get it just to piss people off, because I know people are going to be annoyed at that type of a jersey. But when it comes to a commercial and a marketing aspect, I suppose, in terms of it, the market in Saudi Arabia, it is a clever move.
Yeah, I read a stat that when Ronaldo went to Juve, Juventus won the stock market, and their value was something like 90 million quid. Let's say, for example, it was 90 million pound. Within 6 weeks of Ronaldo signing, the endorsements that Ronaldo brought to Juventus as a human, as in Adidas, whoever he's doing business with, shirt sales, they were worth £2 billion within within a couple of weeks. Then I'm sitting as Simon Jordan a couple of weeks ago on TalkSport, and he's on about the financial fair play. And bear in mind, the guy used to be a chairman of a football club, and he's saying that the rules of the game were you have a 3-year period. At the end of the 3-year period, if you're allowed a limit, I think it was £110 million to be in the black. At the end of the next 2 years, you have to be out of that £110 million black. That's when the fair play comes in. Yeah. So in other words, you have 5 years. And then recoup. So let's say, for example, we spend £400 million in 2 years.
Yeah.
And we spend £200 million more than what we're bringing in. We have 2 years to bring in £200 million.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty easy when you're bringing in top players. I'll be honest, it's shirt sales. You know, you ask me now, if we went out and signed someone like, I don't know, like a Paquetá or whatever, how many people just in Newcastle are going to go and buy that shirt? That's 60, 100,000. That's 6 million, give or take. My maths isn't brilliant, but
that's you and Connor and Dylan in the UK/Ireland. There's me and Jay too, who will obviously be buying Paquetá kits.
So as much as you're seen to be overspending, in 2 years' time you're not.
Yeah.
Because your income's being brought in by the fact that you're investing.
Oh no, I get that. So I definitely agree with you. I'm suggesting that they will build a data model, plan the finances, and they will pick a risk number. We have all the tools in the bucket now. We have all the tools. We can grow our brand in a way that Mike Ashley could not, because Sports Direct was never going to grow our brand. I've even been by a Sports Direct store and I went, God, that does not look cool. But we can do that now.
They're terrible.
We can get.
I wasn't in a way suggesting. I wasn't disagreeing with you, by the way, there, Jay. I was just trying to.
Didn't mean to be defensive, but we have those tools. Yeah. The exciting part is that we have those tools, man, and it's just a risk factor. Because someone could be like, I don't know, boss, I bet we can grow the brand 300 million in 2 years. Well, they better if they plan on that, right? Because we're going to bet against that for the FFP. And if we come up short, and I'm not trying to represent myself as an expert on all the nuance of FFP, but the league is really.
I think you know more than most. I would say
it's just a big
more
churn.
Than me, anyway.
It's just a big churn, and you got to moderate it. And how about this? I'll hang my hat on. I see them acting aggressively but conservatively in one package about what they do.
Yeah.
I also think this is a good comment from Sunshine Bat. It's dangerous to base 2 to 3 years from now for the TV rights money. So I don't know if you guys heard, but like in France for Ligue 1 and Ligue 2, they had a lucrative TV contract that was around the same amount of money that Prem gets with this company. It was I forget, it was a Spanish TV company. They were going to pay $1 billion throughout, just like in the Prem, how it works. They distribute the money evenly. That deal collapsed once the pandemic happened. And that's why we got a player like Bruno Guimaraes for 35 million when he's worth double easily at the age and all the things that he has done with Lyon and when he was at Parennes. Like, that's the thing. If we have to be very, very careful, because I know it's pretty unfeasible that the TV deals in the US and Asia and all that collapse, but you can't be reliant.
You also have to be mindful.
Yeah.
So you have to be mindful of the difference one player can make.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get the right
Considering
player.
Bruno came into the team, changed the midfield. Wilson's came in tonight, and absolutely, for me, it was choking. I mean, he got Miggy was better, Saint-Maximin was better, all because we've got movement up front.
Yeah.
And that can mean that you don't have to have an overall in the squad. Like, for the first team, you haven't got to go crazy. You literally just got to get what you're missing.
Yeah,
and what we're missing is a little bit of someone that can receive the ball and play with Bruno.
Yeah,
let Joe Linton do the dog.
Just listening to the whole chat there in general and the FFP thing. And
sorry, my internet was lagging there if I've interrupted.
I heard most,
but listening to that chat and talking about the revenue we're bringing in the team, when it comes to merchandise, all sorts of other things, I think one of the things we have to be very, very careful of, because it is a fine line that we're treading, that Man City don't quite have the issue, which is that we have got this takeover on the promise from the PIF that it is the PIF and not Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
That's United Football Club. So what we can't do is go overboard with the Saudi stuff too much, because if you're not more nuanced and careful with that, that starts to put a red flag up for people. It's why when I seen the supposedly, whether it is true or not, but the leaked kit with the green and white, I'm not sure that it's a great idea that the first away kit you bring in is going to be the colours of Saudi Arabia. That seems, I get it's going to ruffle feathers, but it just seems a bit reckless to do that so early on when you've made that guarantee that it's not Saudi Arabia and it's a PIF and they are different. And your first kit's the colours, so we have to be extraordinarily careful, because if there is to be seen any kind of breach to the promise we made, the Premier League could come in very, very quickly, and all of a sudden we could find ourselves in court battling to keep the ownership model, because they could go, well, no, sorry, you've said it's one thing. We're starting to get the feeling here from what we're seeing that it's the other. So it's about being nuanced, not shying away too much, but just being a bit more clever.
More subtle.
Yes,
subtle.
And having a green and white kit isn't very subtle. It's just not. So it is just things like that, because we don't want to lose what we've got before it even gets started.
This one's green and white, and this is 3 years old. So
yeah,
to be honest,
they've done it before.
To be honest, when Sheffield United
we've had green strips in the past.
Yeah.
Not with green badges though. Not with not with the fashion.
No, maybe not with right. But Sheffield United have got a green and white strip and they won flat and nightball.
When people see that, that's why that's where the accusation of sports watching starts to come in, because then that gets into the psyche of people and they think. And listen, I don't buy into it. I think it's nonsense. I don't think there's any Newcastle United fan out there for any price wants their club to be used for sports washing purposes by a regime that we all know has got horrific human rights abuses, which is why we do have to be careful, because I'm sure the ownership model, I'm sure Staveley's very intelligent, I'm sure the PIF are very intelligent as well, and they will know this. It's just being careful.
Let's be honest, 90% of the sponsors in Formula One are Saudi funded.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No one says a thing about Formula One.
Exactly.
Or boxing.
Singapore, Abu Dhabi are Saudi funded, or Chinese funded. No one flitters an eyeball, and there's more money in Formula One than there is in, allegedly, than there is in
I agree with all of that. My point is that we have made the promise in the contract that was signed for the takeover that it is not anything to do with Saudi Arabia. That's where the issue comes in, because I agree with all that. I mean, you look at loads of things are Saudi funded. I mean, they've got their fingers in. If anybody's ever subscribed to Disney Plus, if anybody's ever used Twitter, there is Saudi money.
Exactly.
But those things haven't made us all signed a contract, a legally binding contract, saying that it's exclusively not Saudi Arabia, the country. We have, and that's where that's the kind of weird, because Man City had a Away Kit a few years ago that were the colours of Qatar. They had that sort of purple and white affair, and but we've kind of given ourselves that difficulty to just strike a balance, basically, and it's not to please anybody. It's not to play to this mob out there in the media or anywhere else that want to have a go at us. It's to make sure that we can't find ourselves dragged into legal trouble by being seen to breach a contract that we've signed.
To be honest, I don't think that, and that's a good point, Connor. I didn't even really think of that. I was just like, it's white and green. I kind of like it. I didn't even think of that. I think, but like we've been saying this whole night tonight, Staveley's smart.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these people are smart. I think that they wanted that to get leaked, probably just to test the waters. I think that might be something, because again, they're smarter than us, like all the stuff Dave was talking about.
I don't know about anybody else, but has anyone else noticed in the last 6 hours that Sky Sports have been like, we're so sorry, Chelsea fans, but supposedly a takeover's over.
Yeah.
And in a week's time, you could be going in administration.
Yeah.
What happened?
Bowley deal might be off.
They're too much of a cash cow for that league, for something drastic like that to happen.
Everyone's shouting script. Literally, the presenter turned around and said, if a new deal cannot be arranged in the next week, they are possibly in the hands of the administrator.
They need to be in that Premier League meeting by June 8th as registered as a club.
I don't care about what anybody says. No one wants Chelsea Football Club to go out of business if they support football.
No.
I don't.
Aren't Derby in a similar position, and they've had a lot longer to actually get this all sorted out?
They've been.
Like they've still not. As far as I'm aware, they still haven't concluded
they have no
the deal.
owners at the moment. They're losing money every single day.
So that's Mike Ashley's still wanting to buy them. So you kind of
heard that.
You wonder what's the story. Like, if Derby were given such a big time frame, because this has dragged on for at least 2 months now. Look, I have a soft spot for Derby, and the last thing I'd want to do is to make a case for them to go into administration, or worst comes to worst, go bust. But if Derby have been given this time frame of it's roughly 2 months now, 3 months, probably even a longer saga with regards to a chairman, then Chelsea are surely going to be given some sort of time frame where they have to, where they actually get the time to get that all sorted, because Chelsea are a bigger deal to English football than Derby, with all due respect, purely because of their image. Because Chelsea, they're big business, they're a big club now. So if Derby get this special treatment, Chelsea will.
Down to who's getting £2.5 billion, though, supposed to be with a Chelsea deal, isn't it? The deal's $4.25 billion.
Yeah.
But it's the $2.5 billion profit that Abramovich is supposedly having to pass on to other.
The government essentially.
The government,
UK government.
How many politicians are going, well,
When it's that much, though, when you've had an owner like Abramovich there, the problem is that the pool of people who can actually afford to A, buy the club for that amount of money, and B, continue to then fund the club going forward and try and make money back, it is not a massive pool. So what I think was more than likely, because I don't think they will bust, but what will probably happen is if they do fall into administration, which, by the way, isn't the same as going bust. The comment about Rangers didn't because of administration, that was liquidation, as I'm sure Jay knows, they are separate things. Now, when you look at administration, what that would do, almost just by default, it would bring the value of the club down, because they're in administration, which would open up the door potentially for more bidders to come in, or people who are biding their time to go, well, if it gets to that point and we can get it at a lesser price, which business-wise isn't a bad idea, because if it falls into administration and you buy it at a cheaper price, they're not swimming in all sorts of debt that it's unsaleable. It's anybody with a kind of money that can buy Chelsea will be able to deal with that without problem. That's more likely what's going to happen, because Chelsea are, I don't like saying it because it's almost never true, but Chelsea just feel like far too big a club to end up. I mean, people
that's my point,
Rangers, but trust me, Chelsea compared to Rangers in terms of finance, not necessarily fan base or things, but in terms of finance and the stature that club holds in what is the best league in the world.
Fan base, you could say Rangers are above them.
Well, Rangers and Celtic's fan bases are similar to Newcastle.
Massive.
Phenomenal.
Anyways, guys, I'm going to go, but I want to say one thing. Everyone watching, please hit the like button if you're sitting watching. It helps the channel a lot. And thank you very much, guys, for the chat. I've massively enjoyed it. And please hit the subscribe button and hit the alert.
Yes.
Take care, guys.
100%.
See you, Andrew.
Take care, Andy. See you, man.
All the best, lads. Take care, Jay. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too, Andrew. See you.
Yeah, no. This is because June 8th, the Premier League give out licenses to the clubs when they get promoted, or if they're obviously in the league already. They need to get that sorted out by them.
I expect them to. It's an extremely unusual situation.
Yeah.
It is unprecedented, the drivers behind why they are where they are. I do think that everyone knows this needs to get resolved, because the people who will be punished most are the Chelsea supporters. There's not someone I directly have any love for, but I respect them as football supporters.
Well, they deserve to have a team just like we do.
And so I think that many people creative things will be done to make this happen, so that they can function as a football club.
Exactly.
They're able to conduct their transfer window. They've got just a ton of stuff. They've probably got brand sponsorship renewals. There's all kinds of business, and they've got to do that to execute that, or they're at best possibly they're certainly going to knock them out of the top tier if they can't get their money to flow, right? And then maybe even worse knock-ons than that. And that would be a disaster for English football, right? That would be nothing but incompetence if that happens to them, regardless of their motivations for why this happens. And they have the power to do it, so make it happen. Make the price right to make your bad man go away and get a new good person in there. By the way, generally, I love it when Americans buy other people's clubs, because they usually make a right hash of it, right? So I'm a big fan of Americans buying non-Newcastle United clubs and just making a big mess of it.
Rangers and Celtic are huge, but obviously it's a city divided. Newcastle are united.
That's good.
Yes, absolutely.
Nail on the head.
Yep.
Gateshead fans are Newcastle fans. Blythe Spartans fans are Newcastle fans. Freaking, it's another local club. South Shields, they're Newcastle fans. Like, it's not even just Newcastle. It's
one thing this season, I think that's been very, very good, actually, is the fact that when you look at the Europa League, you look at the final as Frankfurt and Rangers. There's two clubs who have shown that you don't have to have all the money in the world to you can listen. It doesn't happen often, but you can do it, because Frankfurt aren't, the richest club in the world. They're not the richest club in Germany.
They're struggling in Germany as well. They're 11th in the table.
And then you've got Rangers 9 years ago were winning a Scottish third division title against Stirling Albion, and they've now, and that's not, it's a big up Rangers. It's just a general plug that.
No,
listen,
I'll admit,
2, 3, 4, 500 million pounds or bringing Erling Haaland to actually have a successful season.
Exactly. No, but I'm actually, I'm from a Celtic supporting family, so to say they weren't pleased about Rangers getting to the final was a bit of an understatement. But to me, look, I like Scottish football in general, so to actually see a Scottish team get to the final, and I even said it to them. It's to like my father, he's Celtic mad. It's actually a good look on Celtic that they won the league ahead of a team that are in the Europa League final.
It is a good look, yes. Yep. That'll help with the coefficient Massive
coefficient.
Coefficient.
Because they'll have two Scottish.
The coefficient isn't going to matter a jot in a couple of years' time.
Probably not. No.
Well, the way that the Champions League, they're changing
yeah,
the model, of course. So the coefficient model is no longer it. And actually, teams are going to get, under the proposals, teams would get in to European competition the following
Historical merit.
No. What it'll be is they're looking at it and saying, if you do well in a European competition, say you get to a quarter-final or a semi-final, that in and of itself would qualify you for a European competition the next season. So it wouldn't just be based on...
I hate that.
It's ridiculous.
The other problem comes with, and this is where I have a right problem with it, under the new proposals, it would also mean that in a season, the team that finishes 5th in the Premier League would also get Champions League football. Now, bear this in mind, that would be ahead of the team that finishes 2nd in Scotland or any other leagues that don't get that opportunity. That would be a quarter of the Premier League would be playing in the Champions League. That is ridiculous. Even English pundits say it's ridiculous. That's how you know it's ridiculous.
Well, like that's the thing with Scottish football over the last few years. There are so many teams in, like, aren't so many, Celtic and Rangers. When was the last time, was it maybe 2011, 2012, that they actually didn't have to go through the qualifying rounds? They actually got straight through into the group stage.
It's been a while.
Yep.
It's been a hell of a long time, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's good for Scottish football to actually, now that Celtic are automatically in the Champions League, and look, I want Frankfurt to win because I like Frankfurt, but for Rangers and Celtic to both be automatically in the Champions League,
that's good for football. That's
good for Scottish football. And when was the last time that both were in it automatically? 2007, 8, even probably before.
And part of that reason comes and actually ties right full circle nicely into the Chelsea discussion we were having there. The problem you have when Rangers went out of business effectively, were liquidated and had to be put into the 3rd division, the impact that had on the coefficient in Scotland was huge because you only had one team ever doing it. And tying that into the Chelsea thing, that is an issue that can occur for you as a league, that if you lose one of your biggest teams, your most sellable teams in that division,
successful team,
it naturally has an overarching impact. Now, it wouldn't be quite as in the Premier League because there are other big clubs there and there are up-and-coming clubs like Newcastle and West Ham are doing quite well. But when you lose one of your big teams, your billboard sides, that does become a problem. It can have an impact across a whole manner of different things, whether it's TV revenue money that came in because you're missing a team that they can no longer show, or whether it is European spots or things like that. That's why it's a very precautionary tale. You don't want a club to go out of business just because they're a big club. It's not how it should work.
I don't want Bury to go out of business, just like I don't want Bologna, Juventus, Aston Villa, Ajax, any of that, because they all play. Everyone deserves to have their side. Everyone, and they play a part in the sport. We literally are. It's 1 a.m. for you guys that we're talking about. So
just before we go, can I ask everyone a Newcastle related question?
Yeah.
Since we have Newcastle fans TV. Do you guys think, because this week in particular, and even the week before, the last couple of home games we've had, and I've listened to the build-up, and I listened to Jurgen Klopp say, it's not going to be an easy game, could be a banana skin, and people were talking about this is a hard game for Arsenal, they might not get 3 points. Do you think there is that fear factor is starting to come back?
It is back. It is back. 7 out of our last 8 have been home wins.
Mm-hmm.
That speaks for itself. I don't see why. I don't see us losing more than 5 games next year.
No.
I will say the only people who don't know that it's back is the Sky Sports presenters and the rest of the journalists.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've been trained well as an American Newcastle follower, and I don't think much of most of the journos. There's a few that are right, but for the most part, they'll be the last to know, or they'll certainly be the last to admit it, Connor, because I do think it is back.
We'll be top. In terms of home form, I think we'll be top 4 or 5 in the league. I hand on heart. I think that 4 or 5, 6 around that.
We'll collect between 30 to 35 points at home next season out of 57.
Yeah.
And then after next year, however far we make it into Cup and whether we get into Europe or not, then the next year is when we will see what we will see, because that's enough time to get enough crops in.
Exactly.
And that's the brand.
Every manager of every other club that runs any Premier League club is absolutely looking at what our ownership group is doing right now and wondering who's going to go out of the top 8 and in the top 6 and so on. And they're going to be developing a plan for it not to be them, because somebody's going to have to make room for us over the next few years, for sure.
Because we are not, we are moving people aside.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good comment here from Jason, by the way. Ashley was a poison, both to Newcastle and Rangers. Yeah. But that's
I don't think he's Connor, and I don't think he's both a year favorite person anyway, in more than one sense.
He's a prick. To be honest, though, Derby County fans, hey, take care, Jay. It was awesome talking to you, man. See
Good day. See you guys.
See ya. No, about Ashley. Oh God. I mean, to be fair, Derby County fans, you kind of have to have him, otherwise you have your club go bust.
I think for the long run, like for the next, if he was to take over Derby for the next 5 years, it'll be a good thing for them, because he'll stabilise them in the Championship, and then he'll have his eye on the Premier League purely because of the Premier League money. But then Derby fans will see the worst of Mike Ashley. So they could see him as a god for the first 3-4 years, but after that, they'll know the true Mike Ashley. But whether they'll be happy with that or not, I don't know. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yes.
The hottest Spur with probably the 50th message of thanks.
I wouldn't wish Mike Ashley on anybody, not even the Mackhams. I just wouldn't. But listen, Derby are desperate. When you're desperate, you will take anybody who can at least keep you alive.
That's it, though. He'll stabilise them, but that's as far as he'll take them.
Yeah, stabilize. No, nothing above that. Yeah, nothing above Steve.
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, as a Derby fan, that's all you want. You just want.
Their predicament now.
You would take stability over no club at all.
Yeah, exactly.
TBH Derby fans.
I am going to have to shoot because it's 1:15 and I have work in the morning. So
I have an interview in the morning as well. So.
Thanks, Connor, for hopping on, man, and thank you, Dylan, for hopping on.
Thanks, that was a pleasure.
What an amazing win today, guys! 2-0, and it's going down in the history books for all the people. We still got 133 people watching, and it's 8:15 in the U.S., 1:15 in the morning in the UK. Thank you so much for all the support, guys, and you're welcome, Spurs. But we'll be coming for you next year. Take care, guys.